would like to call this special council meeting to order. It is 3:06 and it is August 7th, 2024. Right. I guess bang the thing. Let me get to the next. Okay, at this point, can we please have adequate notice of this meeting has been given? And I would like to please have roll call for council.
Mayor, if I may read the opening statement.
Yes, ma'am.
Minutes reflect that adequate notice of the holding of the special meeting of the Howell Township Council has been prescribed in the manner by law with advertisement in the Asbury Park Press on August 5th, 2023. This agenda is complete to the extent known and formal action will be taken. The public will be allowed to attend and will be allowed to participate pursuant to the open public meetings law. Roll call, Councilwoman Fisher.
Here.
Councilman Gager.
Here.
Councilman Nadell.
Present.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell.
Here.
Mayor Parker.
Present. At this time, I'd like to stand and for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence for all of our fallen heroes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, I would like to open for the hearing of citizens and public comments on general matters and on the ordinance 0-23-25. Is there anyone?
Excuse me, Mayor, if we could just have the hearing for general matters first, and then we can do the ordinance hearing after.
What general matters are we talking about?
The public comment period.
Okay.
There has to be a general public comment period at every meeting, so I think the agenda had called for general public comment first.
I just thought it was one thing on the agenda and that we were opening it up one time.
Every meeting has to have one period for
Oh,
general public
perfectly
comment.
fine. Is there anyone out there, Mr. Clark, that would like to be heard about general matters?
No one has their hand raised there.
Okay, so I would take a motion to close that portion.
Motion to
Motion to
close public?
close.
I'm sorry.
Motion to close.
Second?
Councilwoman Fisher.
Yes.
Councilman Gager.
Yes.
Councilman Nadell.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell.
Yes.
Mayor Berger.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
At this time, we have unfinished business, which is a public hearing and adoption of ordinance. It is 0-23-25, an ordinance of the Township of Howell, County of Monmouth, State of New Jersey, authorizing a referendum question to amend the annual levy for municipal open space, recreation, and historic preservation trust fund. This is pursuant to NJSA 40-12-15.7. It was introduced on July 18. So at this time, do I open for public comments or do we vote?
We'll on the hearing on it.
Okay, so I would like to open this portion of the meeting. If there's anybody out there that would like to discuss 0-23-25, please put your hand up.
Nobody has their hand raised, Mayor. Okay. Yes, we do. We're
So,
Gina G into the meeting room.
okay.
Hello, everybody. I'm a resident of Howell. I was reading about the proposed increase in the funding for open space preservation, which I'm a lifelong resident of Howell and I support wholeheartedly. But I have a question about one of the items that I read listed in the Howell Patch article. And I had two questions about it, please. One, it said that payment of debt service on relevant indebtedness issued or incurred by a municipality would be one of the items listed for using the additional money. And I wanted to know if that could be clarified, what the debt service on relevant indebtedness is. And what percentage of the budget of the increase in monies for open space would be delegated to that indebtedness service, and what is it for?
Yeah. Good.
Ma'am, could you please state your name and address for the record?
Sure. My name is Eugenia Grodsky. I live at 37 Wilson Drive in Howell in the Ramtown section.
Thank you.
The payment of debt service is a function of the law that allows us to create an open space trust. And I don't know if you have a copy of the ordinance, and the patch may have abbreviated it, but basically the payment of debt service on indebtedness issued or incurred by a municipality that is going to be paid out of the open space fund has to be for one of the enumerated subparagraphs above it, which is acquisition of lands for recreation and conservation purposes, development of lands acquired for recreation and conservation, maintenance of the lands acquired for recreation and conservation, acquisition of farmland for farmland preservation purposes, historic preservation of historic property, structures, facility sites, areas, or objects, and the acquisition of such property, structures, facility sites, areas, or objects for historic preservation purposes or blue acreage projects. So it's restricted as to what you can use open space monies for in terms of paying off indebtedness. And I'll give you an example where we're using open space funding to pay off debt service. So we own what's colloquially called Harms Pit. It's an old sand or gravel mining operation. We purchased it to preserve it as open space. We bonded for that purchase years ago, and we now pay out of open space to service that debt. So that's the type of project. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to be sure that any of the debt service that would be addressed was directly related to all of these projects and not something irrelevant. That's the only concern I had, that it's, specifically only for these purposes. And
We
thank you for explaining it.
Space money to fund, like say a traffic light necessarily. So, there may be some circumstances where, some projects fall under it, but yeah, I get what you're saying. It's not going to be used for purposes other than what's set forth in the ordinance here.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time and addressing my question.
You're very welcome. Our pleasure.
Thank you.
Mr.
Gina,
Clark,
you stole my question. That was the one question that I had.
Mr. Clark, I have a follow-up question. So when we are going to spend those dollars, that does come back to council, is that correct?
Council approves the expenditures for various projects. And it depends on the nature of the project, and that there are some funds that come out of there for maintenance and whatnot that are at a dollar limit that don't necessarily require a council approval. They may be on the bills list. So let's say something that we just paid for, like the lights at Soldier Memorial. Yeah, that was approved by council.
Okay,
Yeah, but something like, let's say a single bench in a park, probably not at a level where council needs to, we would flag up.
is it almost related to like a cost structure?
Yeah.
Like below a certain threshold doesn't, and then above it, a threshold it does?
Yeah, it goes by we go by our purchasing laws, of
Right, and it would be the same for this?
course.
Mayor?
Yes.
I lost my camera, so but sorry, I don't really know who's talking sometimes. But anyway, I just think it's important to have on the record that everything that can be purchased out of this is statutorily regulated. So it's carefully watched and monitored so that everything is done with all good intentions and within the law.
Yeah, 100%. And just to clarify as well, this is a referendum question. So we're going out to the voters in November and we're asking them, do you agree
Mhm.
with an extra penny on it? So that's really what's going on right now. And we'll know more in November in terms of what's going to happen. So if it passes, then we know that, you know, our open space fund will be enhanced and we'll have more capability. So.
Okay.
All right.
Is there anyone there, Mr. Clark, anyone else out there that would like to speak?
Is there anybody else that would like to address council about this ordinance? Please raise your hand. I don't see any other hands raised, Mayor.
Okay, so at this time, I will close the public portion of the meeting. And then I would ask for a motion to move forward and present ordinance 0-23-25.
I'll make a motion to close public portion concerning ordinance 23-25.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
aye,
At this time, I would like a motion to move forward with ordinance 0-23-25. Roll call, please.
I would make a motion to approve ordinance 2325 and its final reading and adoption.
second,
Roll call, Councilwoman Fisher?
Yes.
Councilman Gager?
yes,
Councilman Nindale?
yes,
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell?
Yes,
Mayor Verder?
Yes.
Thank you. The ordinance is adopted.
Could I just ask that we see like a plan on possible projects that would be utilizing these dollars in, you know, towards sometime this year, if that would be possible, once and if this passes?
Referendum will be able to better plan. So.
Sure. And I know that's talk of the town and talk of everything else, and so I would just like to change the subject momentarily regarding the tax bills that came out. How are we going to, I have two bills that in total cost the town $1.10.
So here's the thing with it. First, this isn't that meeting where we should be addressing general things. It's a special meeting for this ordinance.
I
Second,
said I was asking a question.
I know it's not appropriate for this meeting, but I'll answer it. There was about 100 people who got duplicates. So it was $55 that it cost the town. So
Only 100 people? How did that happen?
it happened that only 100 people got it.
Well, how did it just happen in general?
Well, I think that they started the run of the bills. There was an interruption in the run. The run started again, and despite their efforts to pull duplicates out, they went out.
It seemed like more than 100, but I could be absolutely wrong.
Yeah, I'm being told it was 100, so I rely on what our professionals tell me.
Sure.
Appreciate your question. And if there's anything more that you want to discuss generally, that'll be more appropriate at the next meeting.
I just wanted to ask that one question, that's all. And I do have the right to ask that. So I appreciate the answer. At this time, is there any further business that needs to be conducted? So I will then say that our next meeting is the regular meeting, which will be held on Tuesday, August 15th. Regular session, executive session at 6, and then regular session is at 7. I would accept a motion to close the meeting.
motion to close,
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Aye.